Good morning and welcome to this new video on the channel. Today I'm going to explain why Curve revolutionized the card system. Curve is unique. There are no other cards that serve the same function. We can summarize Curve's role as a wallet card. Indeed, it isn't a bank account, it has no IBAN of its own, you can't deposit money into it, it's not even a prepaid credit or debit card, none of these options. But it functions somewhat as a stock card for those who may use it on a daily basis. Loyalty cards from various companies can be added to the stock cards. Within Curve, you can also add loyalty cards, fulfilling the same stock card function, but the main feature is the ability to add different cards, such as different debit and credit cards that we own. This is incredibly useful if we have multiple cards from multiple accounts in our wallet. Consider, for example, the contested account, our personal account, the company account, and so on. So we can have 3, 4, 5 cards inside the wallet, especially if you're like me who tries multiple cards per day. So you can consolidate them all into Curve. What is its purpose? You select which card you want to use, then enter the application. I want to pay with my AIP card. Okay, so I select AIP within the application. When I use this card, it's automatically as if I were using AIP. Same thing, for example, if you wanted to use Revolut. In the meantime, I leave you the link here. I'm not sure where it is, of the video dedicated to Revolut that I made a month ago. And then we can choose to pay with that card, so it withdraws the money from that account. Why is this super convenient? Well, firstly, if we were to mistakenly use the wrong card, as you can select and change cards within the application, let's say we forgot or made a mistake, and make a payment with the company card instead of our personal one. Within the app, depending on the plan you choose, which we will discuss later, you can opt to move that payment to a later date at the moment in which, for example, an expenditure of 100 euros is charged to our company card. We enter the app, realize we made a mistake. We have from 30, 90, up to even 120 days to change this transaction. So we can go back in time, as the feature is called, move the payment and then choose the card that suits us. In this case, we move from the company card to the Revolut card, which is my personal one. This will change quite instantly. It will withdraw the money from the Revolut account and credit the money back to the company account. However, this does not apply to Curve, in that a payment to Curve or a credit from Curve will not appear in our account status. It will process the same way as the merchant transaction. So, if we had paid to Lidl, our Revolut card will also subsequently show a debit from Lidl DateX, clearly with the same amount, making this a zero-interest feature. Super convenient. Another super useful function is that you can create so-called smart rules. What are they? They are intelligent rules. Essentially, it means that we can automatically choose which card to use depending on the type of transaction. For example, we have a certain agreement, a cashback, with one of our cards. Think of the S-Lunga, which is the trusted card that comes with the account where you can load money. We want to use that card for shopping. So, when we select our shopping merchant, S-Lunga can even let you choose the type of merchant. It will automatically know that it must draw money from the trusted card. This is extremely convenient because if we have multiple cards for different specific functions, it automatically switches without having to remember every time to go into the application or to use the go back in time function, because then in the account status there will clearly be credits and debits, and it is not an easy thing to manage, especially if our account is a business account. Another feature that is only available on the paid plans, which are the black, which is the one I currently have, and the metal plan, is insurance. Baggage insurance, purchase insurance, travel insurance, all of which will be removed in 2024, shortly after this video comes out, to make room for greater cashback opportunities. And now we move on to the next feature. With the black and the metal plans, you get access to a 1% cashback on the retailers you choose. In the case of the black plan, it is currently 6 and certainly 3 retailers, but will go up to 6 in 2024. From the metal plan, it is currently 6, but will move to 12. In 2024. So the insurance function, the insurance service, has been removed to increase the potential for cashback. This has happened because, at least from what I understand from forums, Telegram groups and the like, it was the most appreciated function within the Cube application, Revolut. In reality, the insurance was unreliable. I've rarely seen comments from people who managed to get money back from the insurance because it was very demanding, asking for a lot of data, taking a long time, and in the end, challenging to manage, especially because it was only in English. So, in my opinion, it was an incomplete service, and I am honestly pleased that they have removed it in favor of more cashback exercises. You can also do some calculations to determine if you can cover the cost of the subscription just with the Cube card. Take me, for instance. As I've mentioned before, I use my accounts to pay taxes or university fees, and within the Cube application you can choose between retailers and the Italian post office. So I go to the post office, pay and continue to pay at the post office with a small commission, but I get 1% cashback back. So between costs and benefits, in the end it was worth it. Another significant advantage for those who use the Cube card is that it is highly recommended for travelers. This is because you can have an account like Revolut. I always refer back to the video I made about Revolut, which is an account created specifically for travelers, a free flight change, an instant flight change, etc. But for an average person who perhaps travels less throughout the year and has to use multiple accounts, even abroad, Cube comes in handy. So besides giving us the choice to choose the card from which to deduct the money, as we already discussed, it automatically makes the currency exchange. That means at Revolut we think about having accounts in euros, for instance, the classic Italian European account, and we go to England. When we have a transaction in England, of course, we have to pay in sterling. So if we use our card, for instance, a bank will charge us the currency exchange plus a small commission for the change. Okay, so if we have to pay £10, we take the current exchange rate, which I think is MasterCard's, of the value of the euro-sterling exchange rate, and an additional small commission percentage. What does Cube do instead? Cube takes the money in euros from the understood bank, converts it into pounds, and clearly in the end it goes to the final army in pounds. This is because it somewhat confuses the system. So the money will be withdrawn in euros from Banca Intesa, while from the final army it will arrive in sterling. So it offers an exchange rate, even the current exchange rate of MasterCard. Like all services, there are small commissions during the weekends because the markets are closed. During the week, from Monday to Friday, there are 0 commissions, and then depending on the plan, the amount of money you can exchange varies. In the Black and Meta plans, I think it is limited. In Free and X plans, there is a limit of exchange, so you have to consider how much you will need monthly. There are no particular limits. The most you can spend in a single transaction is €8,000, which is substantially higher than all debit cards at least. So even those with particular credit cards with a large credit limit can utilize Curve in this system. Lastly, but not least, the service it offers is in the Metal plan, where you can access the lounge at discounted prices. You can find the branch within the Cube application and be able to gain access to the various lounges inside the airports by paying a fee, it seems to me, of €22–24, depending on the airport you select. Certainly one doesn't choose Curve's service probably to use the lounges, but in my opinion, its pillars are the free currency exchange even on regular account cards. So this is excellent because before I used Banca Sella for my main account and through Curve, I was able to travel safely abroad without paying any commission on currency exchange. Another thing is, when I started using multiple accounts, even the corporate one, I had the opportunity to comfortably use it through Curve, and it is accepted everywhere because it is a card that uses the MasterCard circuit. You can put on Google Pay, on Apple Pay. It's very convenient in this regard. I also particularly like the design. In fact, what I like the most is, let's see if I can focus. Okay, what I like most is the design of the card X, which I think is fabulous. I've not had the opportunity to handle the metal one, although the white color looks promising, so who knows if I'll ever get to try it. After all these positive aspects, I must also tell you the main negative aspect, in my opinion, of using this card, which in my opinion significantly affects the experience of use, and I hope it will be resolved as soon as possible. That is assistance. Assistance can come in handy, for example, to understand why some transactions are denied or comprehend some refund issues or even simply to understand some information that we need to inquire during the normal use of our card. There is a communication section. There is a chat inside the application. In the black and metal plans, priority assistance is provided, but this does not happen, at least in my experience with the black plan. There are days when I write and they reply within 1 to 2 hours. Other times they reply after 3, 4, 5 hours, and sometimes they just forget to reply to me. I have to close the chat and start a new one, which I find very stressful. Of course, this is not a card that holds deposited money, so potentially unusual transactions can take place. What you might need to ask, for instance, is why a transaction was not moved correctly with the Go Back in Time function, or why it is not active, or understanding why the app throws up on some information. Information that is timely throughout the day, because you can block the card clearly from the app in a highly convenient way. However, it is an extremely unfavorable aspect. When I think about Revolut, who replies to me literally after 5 minutes, it changes the level of assistance, reliability, and trust you place in the service. Having said this, in my opinion, it doesn't completely negate what it offers, because it is the only card on the market that provides this type of service. I think it's super useful for those with multiple accounts, for frequent travelers, for those who want to manage multiple cards and transactions on different platforms, and Cube offers it to you. There are 4 plans. The free one gives you a blue card with the old design, which is a red C in the center. You have quite significant limits, but it allows you to try out almost all of the features, because you can add a maximum of 3 cards, which is still quite a lot. Then Plan X is a good interlude plan, in my opinion, neither here nor there. Then there's the black plan, which in my experience is the best in terms of quality over price. It costs €10 a month and offers 3 retailers for now, which will increase to 6 later, and insurance. The only thing they don't offer is lounges. Lastly, we have the metal plan, which costs €18. I think it's a bit too much for what it offers. There aren't many differences between the metal plan and premium plan, like with Revolut in this case. Between the metal plan and the black plan, there aren't enough differences to justify those extra €8. So out of 10, it's almost 100% of the expense. For the rest, I recommend it for all the reasons I have mentioned. If you don't have it, I'll leave my link in the description, which you can use to get £5 as a bonus. If you have any questions, write to me in the comments, share this video if you liked it, and I will see you next time. Bye.